This video is for lesson 4.4 for review packets 4A. Okay, let's look at this. Oops. Find 3 points on the graph of each equation. Okay, so as long as you follow, let me do A, by the way. So part A. So as long as we find 3 points, it doesn't really matter which point we are talking about. So the problem A is a straight line that shifted to the right 2 spaces because we are subtracting 2, and also it goes up 5 from origin. So, but that's a straight line. So if you can imagine, if you can picture that, I don't want to write it right here, but we can always assume, we can always say, if x is 0, right, what would happen? If x is 0, then y minus 5 equals 4 times x, in this case it's 0, because x is 0, minus 2. So we'll have y minus 5 equals 4 minus negative 2. That's y minus 5 equals negative 8. Add 5 to both sides. We know that y equals negative 3. If x is 0, y is negative 3. Okay? So that's 1 point. How do we find the second point? Well, let's assume that x equals 1, or maybe 2, or 3, or 4, whatever. Plug that in. So y minus 5 equals 4 times y minus 2. And then just do it out. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. Some number minus 5 is negative 4. It's got to be 9. No, it's not. It's 1, because 1 minus 5 is negative 4. So if x is 1, y is negative 1. So that's the second point on that line. Remember, the point that satisfies an equation is on the line. Okay? So 1, negative 1 satisfies this equation because it's true that 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Oh, wait a minute. So this should be 1 then, right? 1 minus 5 is negative 4. So that this point satisfies this equation. So this should be in there. How do we find the third one? Well, you can find x equals, you can set it up x equals 2 or x equals negative 1, you know, that kind of things. So you can keep doing that. For other parts, problem 11, standardized test prep. Which equation describe the relationship between x and y in the table? Okay, if x is negative 3, y is 1. Okay, again, this means it's negative 3, 1. That's a point. So if this point satisfies this equation, then this is on that line. Okay, I would try to plug in there for A. If it works, I will plug this in to A, and if all the points has to be work, so yeah, plug these number in. I know you don't like fractions, so I would try these so that maybe we can narrow it down, and if it narrows it down, if we can eliminate some choices, we can move from there. We can move on from there. Well, eventually you're going to have to deal with the fraction. For example, let me just do the B. I don't want you to just turn around from fraction. Fraction is not that bad. You're just kind of making you believe that it's really bad. So let's try this one. Okay, so it's x is -1, so we have 2 times -1 minus 3 times y, which is 2 over 1/3. That's 7/3, right? So you're just going to put 7/3. So this is -2 minus, right here, remember this one? You know, long story short, you can cancel out, right? Is that -9? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah. So this point satisfies B. But that doesn't mean that all of these has to satisfy B in order to say these are the set of points from this equation. So don't just say, alright, this works, so the answer must be B. No, you have to try everything. Okay? So that's B. That's, 12. Problem 14, as you do these exercises, you may find a fast way to determine collinear points. Find a pattern and you may not need to find the slope between every pair of points. I love this kind of problem. So the faster you find the pattern, the less work you need to do. I like that. So for exercise 14 to 16, points A, B, C are collinear. Is points X collinear with points A, B, and C? Look for a pattern. Okay, let's do A. Is ABC collinear? Is points ABC? So we have to find the slope between A and B in this case. Slope between A and B, A comma B, is the second y minus first y, so that's 0, over second y minus first y. So that's 0 over -5, which is 0. Oh, I'm getting sleepy. Slope between, how about B and C? Okay. So the second point is 0, so 0 minus 0, which is the first y. 0 minus 0 over second y minus third y. So it's -5 minus 2. That's 0 over -7. That doesn't really matter. That's the slope is 0. So this point ABC, since the slope between A and B, for example, from here to here, we have 3 points, 3 random points, A, B, and C. Slope between A and B is the same as slope between B and C. That means these 3 are on the straight line. How about X? 0. So let's find out the slope between C and X. So if the slope between C and X, somewhere, arbitrary points right there, if the slope is the same, then it will be on the same line. Slope between C and X will be the second y, which is 0, this y, minus C, over 14 over 9 minus -5. So that means 14 over 9 plus 5. Oh my goodness, there's a fraction. Oh my goodness. Well, you don't really have to worry about it, right? Whatever the number, whatever the denominator, the numerator will be 0. So the slope has to be 0. Therefore, point X will be on the line. Did you find a pattern yet? No? Alright. You just keep going and there is a pattern. And you can say whether or not the points will be on the line. Okay? So that's problem 14. If you have a question, you can always come to me or you can ask me a question on Edmodo. Have fun.